Welcome to Session 5, Setting the Right Price. This is part of Section 3 in the Business Handbook, Increasing Your Sales. Well, in Session 5 here, we've got three objectives. One, we want to explore the biblical perspective on profit and stewardship. Second, we want to discuss the relationship among price, sales, and profits. And third, we want to identify how to adjust prices in response to what happens in the marketplace. So, part one is a review of the last lesson. Again, you're going to want to cover that with your participants. We're going to jump in on part two, which is exploring a biblical perspective on profit. Now, in the past weeks, we've discussed how to increase our sales and wisely manage our businesses, right? In this training video, we've discussed that. In this session, we're going to continue by talking about how to price products or services to make more money. To begin, let us look into the scriptures to have a proper perspective on what it means to make a profit. Listen to a story that Jesus told about a rich man. So this is the story of the rich fool in Luke chapter 12, verses 16 through 21. A rich man's farm produced a large crop. The man said to himself, "I will tear down my barns and build bigger ones, where I can store all my grain and other goods. Then I will have stored up enough good things to last for years to come. I will live like a king, eating, drinking, and enjoying myself." But God said to him, "You are a fool. Tonight you may die. Then who will get what you have stored up?" This is what happens to people who store up everything for themselves, but are not rich toward God. Now, consider the rich fool's attitude toward profit. What was the problem here? And what is most important for your business? Earning high profit or bringing honor to God? And why? Well, making a profit is very important. We'll all agree on that, I think. It ensures that your business is strong and that your daily needs are met. However, when you follow Jesus, running a business is not only to make a profit. In order to wisely manage your business, what should be our first priority? And I think you know the answer to that. And this is something you're going to want to train your people on. But the first priority is honoring God, right? Loving our customers. Earning a fair profit is important. But we stress the word fair there, earning a fair profit. We don't want to gouge our customers. It needs to be a fair profit. We want to make the products affordable, but it also has to earn a profit or else we'll be out of business. So, we must first seek to honor and bring glory to God through our businesses because He has given us the ability to have this business, right? In order to be wise managers, earning a high profit cannot be our only or first priority. The rich man in the story failed to realize that God directs our lives and our businesses, and seeking Him provides the best guidance. Now, let's move on to part three, where we discuss a story and play a game about how price affects profits. And price is a major driver, a major influencer, effector of profits. Now, let us hear a story about two business people. You're going to answer questions to figure out how these women honor God through their businesses. The story of Anna and Marita. Anna and Marita sell hand-woven baskets made from reeds collected near their community. Anna sells 2 times a week at the local market, right? So the when of the place of her selling is 2 times a week. At the local market being the where, right? She generally sells 20 baskets a week. Now, Marita takes her baskets to town once a week and also sells door to door. She generally sells 40 baskets a week. Who sells more baskets? Well, we know that Marita sells more, right? She sells 40, right, to Anna's 20. Now, Anna sells her baskets for 20 Rwandan francs per basket. Marita sells hers for 10 Rwandan French francs. So who makes more, right? Who makes more, Anna or Marita? Well, Anna makes 400 Rwandan French francs, right? 20 baskets that she sells times 20 Rwandan francs each, she makes a total of 400 Rwandan French francs in terms of her income. Marita makes 400 Rwandan French francs, or Rwandan francs, because she sells hers for 40 and she sells 10 baskets. Now, they make the same amount of income here, right? They each make 400 Rwandan francs. Anna spends 100 Rwanda francs on transportation and market fees. Marita spends 50 Rwandan francs on transportation and has no market fees. So, who makes more profit and why? Well, Anna makes 300 Rwandan francs because she sells 400 worth of Rwandan francs and has 100 in terms of cost, so she makes 300 Rwandan francs. Marita makes 350 Rwandan francs because Marita makes more profit because she sells the same amount, 400, but she only has expenses of 50. So her profit margin is a total of 350. Now, how does the price you charge affect the profit you make? Well, the higher the price per item, the more profit per one item, and you have to buy and sell fewer items, right, to make that profit. So with a lower price, you may sell more, but you also have to sell more to make a profit. Your profit margin per item will be lower. So let's just redefine our terms. Profit is the price multiplied by the number of items that you sell, minus the cost. That's how much the total profit is that you make. So price is a very important determiner of what it is you make in terms of profit, right? Price affects how much money you bring in and how much people are willing to buy. Now, setting the price is determined by the amount of customers, the amount the customers are willing to pay for your product or service. What the competition is charging is also a function of what customers are willing to pay and what costs that you have to cover. So you have to consider all these things in terms of setting your price. Now, in part number 4, we want to talk about the practice in making adjustments, the practice of making adjustments to the price that we charge based on what happens in the marketplace. So let's read on. Good business people adjust their prices to make the most profit. That means increasing and lowering price, both directions. It depends on what is going on in the market. We're going to play a game to practice adjusting the price. I'm going to tell you some things that can happen in the market. You tell me whether the seller can raise her prices or lower her prices. So thumbs up is they can raise the price. You're going to show the participants if they do this, that means, you can increase your price. Or if what's happening in the marketplace forces you to lower your price. So let's go through a couple of these different questions and see whether you think they can raise the price or lower the price. So you set your prices higher or lower depending on the following. Your product or service is better than the competition, higher or lower? Up, right? If you've got a better product, you should be able to earn more for it. Your product or service is not as good as the competition, right? You're going to have a lower price to attract customers who have a choice between the two products. Your poor quality product versus someone's better quality product. Third, your product or service is the same as the competition, right? That means you got to charge the same price. If it's basically the same quality and you don't offer anything, no added value that we talked about earlier, you're going to have to charge the same price. What about if you get a good price on supply so your costs are lower? Well, you might be able to lower your price and sell more of them, right? If you buy your raw materials at a good price and have a good profit margin, you might be able to do that. What about if you decide to sell to wealthy customers and locate your business on a corner near their homes where they have more income, more disposable income? Well, you might be able to charge a higher price. What about if you move your business to a market where there's a lot of business but a lot of competition? You have a lot of competition and great location, but a lot of other sellers that sell the same product or service. Well, you're gonna have to lower your price to meet the competition, right? Or what about if you're selling to a new customer? somebody that's buying from somebody else, you may have to lower your price. It'll depend. Depends on your product, but if your product is the same quality, you may have to lower your price to get their business. Or what about you're selling to a customer who comes back again and again and buys a lot? Well, if they buy a lot, you may have to offer them a lower price, right? Or there's a festival coming up and customers are demanding a lot of your product or service. Well, if demand is high and the supply stays the same, you may be able to charge more because they need to get the product. They really need to get it. And demand is more than supply, then you're going to be able to raise your price. How about when the festival is over and people are out of money? Well, money isn't around. There isn't money to buy your product. You're going to have to sell it at a lower price to get that product to move, to get those consumers to buy the product. Or what if it's late at night and you're one of the few places open? Well, because of that convenience, you can probably charge a higher price. So, right, you want to be thinking about those things as you price your products. All these kind of influences in the marketplace can affect whether you can sell at a higher price, a lower price, or whether you have to match the price with your competitor down the hallway in the same marketplace. So how do you set your price? Here's some more questions. How do you set your price if you need to sell your fresh food quickly or it will spoil? Well, you may have to lower your price if there's a time consideration, right? Or there's a shortage in the area and the cost of supplies goes up. Well, if your raw material costs are going up, you're probably going to have to charge a higher price to cover your costs. Or what about if you have a problem in your business and you lose a lot of inventory? Well, you may or may not be able to raise your prices depending on the competition, right? You're going to have to respond to what the competition is doing. Or what about if you're selling to a wholesaler who buys in bulk, right? What if they buy a lot at maybe at a lower price? You may have to lower your price in order to move your product. Or you formed a group with other people in the market who sell the same thing. Well, you can all collude and agree to sell at a higher price, right? People will form coalitions to try to say, let's all sell at the higher price. Now, in part 5, we're going to ask our people again to commit to think about price as part of their overall, what we call the sales mix, all the things that go into selling the product. So we asked them what is the one thing that they've learned about with regard to setting the right price. So they remember first that they have to seek and honor God in setting the right price. It needs to be a fair profit that they're going to make on their product. They don't want to be unfair. They don't want to gouge their customer. That they remember that price does determine profit. Price is the single biggest determiner of profit. In selling products, having the right price. How much you sell and how much you earn is primarily driven by price. And then the last thing you've learned is that the price can be adjusted according to market fluctuations, up and down, right? You have to react to the market and set your price. So we're talking about the 5 things in the product and sales mix that affect increasing your sales. And we've just talked about number 4, the number 4 thing here. If I can get that finger up, that one finger up here, number 4 is price, right? Price is the 4th thing that we're talking about in terms of the 5 things that drive increasing your sales. In the next session, session 6, we're going to talk about promoting the business, marketing the business, promoting, increasing people's awareness that your product and your service exists. So I look forward to covering session 6 with you in terms of promoting your business when we come back. See you then.